Hello and welcome. Today's episode, I'm going to be making nameplates. Basically, I found that when I make videos, I don't always want to be doing an intro. So sometimes I just need a nameplate, which is an item which will come from the left or right of the screen, and just tell you basic information about myself. I don't think that quite sounded right, but meh. So, this way, by having the nameplate come on, it'll tell you who's speaking and their relevance, and then you will get to go straight into the action, rather than having to listen to me. So first things first, I've got to make the image section of the nameplate. So I'm just going to open Illustrator and I'm going to go to Preset. Now I can just go to More Settings and Templates, because I've made screen elements, which is basically just most of this information, but it's just got a lot of useless lines disappearing off it. So I'm going to have this artboard. I don't know why I have the Learn tab here. Save this workspace. Cool. And I'm going to do the makes video first, because obviously this is a makes video and it would make sense. Ha 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 ha. So I pre-made this nameplate. Just going to copy it in. And I'm going to make it into a vector. Oh, this has actually reset a lot of things that I don't want. Properties, artboard, layers, image stuff. Cool. So I'm going to image trace this, high fidelity. It should only really pick up two colours, the yellow and the green. Expand it, and that should be the bits done. If I just get rid of these two colours, and this should be the whites. This one I can just get rid of. Enough said. I want this artboard. So this artboard is actually transparent, so there's nothing there but what I've just put on. If I do this, it'll make it look like a white screen. I will quickly pull this group, call this nameplate makes. So I want this to be on this side of the screen. I want it to be bigger than it is currently, but basically I can just change the size of it. I don't want it to take up too much room, so I'll just fit on screen. Let's say we want this to be, the screen is 1900, I don't, so I'll go for 2000, and then we will make it 200 pixels large for a 1000 one. So I need to unhook this because that's under what I've made here. And then I'm going to align it to the left side of the screen. And then I'm going to manually, while holding shift, because that makes it move in straight lines, move it down. I only want it to move back here on the screen. So this would be the background, this would be the screen. Then I'm going to add the features to it. So what I need is the basic random, which I have a vector of. And I'm going to do that by doing place. Then I'm pretty sure I can use this. So I'll just find the neutral one, because I don't yet have the mix one. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the end, because that's why we want it. I'm going to change the opacity so it's not as bright. And then I'm going to move that entire group slightly right, because it hasn't quite aligned with the left side of the side like I thought it would. So and now I've just got to put my information on this. It just kind of looked like it just does that anyway from the looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text. This one. Tactical. Going to leave that as a linked file, because that means if I change anything on that file, it'll change on this file as well. So I just want to put my stuff here. Oh, it's filled it with that Latin debacle stuff. So I want it to be Consolus, because I am evil. I want it to be quite large. And I want it to follow the way I've done the rest of the writing on here, which, if I popped Premiere and look at the comments, we have a stroke of 5. Doesn't look like it's done Consolus for some odd reason. Wait, is this Consolus? Let's double check. Comic Sans. Don't even remember my own text. Comic Sans with a stroke of white, 5 pixels. I can just change this around. Now 5 seems to be too large, but I have a feeling that's because on the Premiere I can actually switch things around. So it has 50 points usually, and I'll just decrease this to 1. Oops. If I was doing this a bit zoomed out. And basically we're just going to lock the other files. I'm just going to mess with this until it looks right. And then I'm just going to reposition it. Make this area smaller. Align it properly. So if I go to view and at the moment, sometimes when you move things around it usually gives you the smart guides. So I just need to turn the smart guides on. Smart guides. Yes, and you'll see how it's doing little lines. So I want it to be central, but a good distance away. So that will be slide on the screen, tells you who I am, or rather, who is speaking, and then goes back. Save this document, call it Blue Mix nameplate. And what I can do is later on I can come back and just add in the different details, so I can change this to read or write random and so forth and so forth. And I'll lock that. Save. Now I'm going to go to Adobe After Effects. I'm going to make a new composition. I'm going to make it the same size of the screen, 60 frames per second. I only want this to be on the screen for about 8 seconds. I'm going to call it RW Nameplates. I'm also going to save it as RW Nameplates. Now I will bring in that diagram I just made as footage and add it. So firstly I want to make it so that so at the moment this timeline is 8 seconds long. It says F, that's frames. By setting it to 60 frames per second, it means that 60 is 1 second. This is because this time period here is frames, seconds, minutes, hours. So if I make frames into 60, it means I'm essentially working with milliseconds, which is easier to understand. So at the moment, you see this blue bar, that's how long this image is going to be present on the screen. I don't want it to only be present for the 1 second that it's currently on. So I'm going to drag this all the way and past the end, because it will just go to the end and then repeat itself in this program. So at the moment, it's just on the screen for the entirety of the 8 seconds. What I want is I want it to come onto the screen. Now, one thing I'm going to do is see this star, it says continuous rasterizing. I'm going to pick that. If I don't pick that and I make changes, how do I do that? Alt. It's going to have these be not as neat. I mean, they're not very neat at the moment either, but you know, you're not going to see them too massively unless you're watching this on a really big screen, in which case congratulations to you. But I want this to appear. So of the 8 seconds, I want it to take 1 second for it to appear, go for 6 seconds, and then disappear back off to the screen. So firstly, I'm just going to fit it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, I'm going to say transform, and I'm going to pick position. So at the moment, it's on position 956 and 956. So that's because it's the entire square that it's associated with. I'm not entirely sure how you cut off the edges, so I won't bother with that right now. If I press position here, it means I'm going to change the position and it makes a keyframe. So I have one keyframe here, I want one keyframe at 1 second, so I'm going to drag over to 1 second. I can also just change the time here by clicking on it. Or, if I do plus, oh no, it's actually just rotating it. Never mind. I'm thinking of other programs. If I just go to 1 second, put another thing, go to the 7 second mark and 8 second mark. Those are 3 points that I actually want to change. The reason it's gone blank there is because that's the end of the thing and there should be nothing present. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for the first second, I want this to be off the screen. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to drag this item off the screen. By holding shift, it goes into a straight line. I'm then going to take a note of this point and I'm going to go all the way to the last one and change it. This means that it will take 1 second to come on, wait for 6 seconds, and then leave. Now the program is automatically replaying it, which is perfectly fine. That is my nameplate. Save the project, and then we will export it. So, right, so to export, pick this, composition, and add to render queue. Then I'm going to change all of these settings. So, best settings. Let's look at the customs. If I do QuickTime, set this to at time and alpha, so it has the blank spaces. Don't touch the resize. Can't really touch these. Color management, I think it's fine. And that's basically it. Press OK. Output 2. Yeah. And render. And that means we now have a little nameplate, which I can then save add into the project. Oops. Click the vector there, I want them off. Let's start this preview. And there we have a nameplate for use in the videos. Thanks for watching this random workings video. If you like what you saw and want some more, please hit the like button, maybe subscribe, and then check out the video or playlist shown on the left of the screen. Either way, it's bye for now, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Bye!